The vast darkness of space surrounded the small human scout ship Hwarang as it patrolled the outer edges of the Sol system. Captain Junho Kim sat in the command chair, his eyes focused on the main screen. The ship was on a routine mission, checking for any unusual activity near Neptune's orbit. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange," said Lieutenant Hyunwoo Park. His fingers moved quickly across his console. "Multiple large objects entering the system." Captain Kim straightened in his chair. "Show me." The main screen changed to show several large shapes moving toward them. They were ships, but unlike any human vessels, they had strange angles and glowed with an eerie purple light. "Are they transmitting anything?" Captain Kim asked. Communications Officer Yoon Ji-yoon shook her head. "No, sir. Nothing on any known frequencies." The bridge of the Hwarang was small, but efficient. 12 crew members operated the scout vessel, all trained members of the Korean Space Force. The ship itself was not large or heavily armed. Its main purpose was to observe and report back to Earth. "Should we contact Earth Command?" asked Yoonji. Captain Kim nodded. "Send a message to Admiral Choi. Tell him we have encountered unknown vessels at the edge of the system. We will attempt communication." Yoonji sent the message while the rest of the crew watched the alien ships grow larger on the screen. There were 7 of them. One massive ship led the others. "They're in formation," said Lieutenant Hyunwoo. "That looks like a military formation." Captain Kim frowned. "Open a channel, all frequencies." Yoonji pressed several buttons. "Channel open, sir." Captain Kim stood up straight. "This is Captain Junho Kim of the Earth Federation scout vessel Hwarang. We are on a peaceful reconnaissance mission. Please state your intentions." For a long moment there was no response. Then a harsh voice came through the speakers. "Earth vessel. This is Commander Vorex of the Galactic Council Expansion Fleet. Your system has been selected for integration. Surrender your vessel immediately." The crew of the Hwarang looked at each other with concern. Captain Kim kept his face calm. "Commander Vorex, we have no hostile intentions. Our vessel is a scout ship only. We request a peaceful meeting to discuss your arrival in our system." A strange sound came through the speakers. It took the humans a moment to realize it was laughter. "Your primitive vessel poses no threat, Commander," Vorex said. "We have studied your world from afar. Your technology is basic. Your people are divided. You will serve the Galactic Council." On the main alien ship, Commander Vorex turned to his second-in-command. Vorex was tall with gray skin and 4 eyes that blinked in sequence. "Look at that tiny vessel," Vorex said. "Their most advanced technology is nothing compared to ours." His second-in-command, Sub-Commander Drelks, nodded. "Shall we destroy them?" As an example, Vorex considered the small human ship on his screen. "Yes. A quick demonstration of our power will make the rest of their planet surrender without a fight." Back on the Hwarang, weapons specialist Do-hyun Kang reported, "Captain, they're charging weapons." Captain Kim didn't hesitate. "Shields up. Activate countermeasures. Engineer Lee, give us full power to engines." Engineer Ji-won Lee called from her station. "Aye, Captain. Engines at full power." The Hwarang was small, but it was fast. As the alien vessels fired their first shots, the human ship moved with surprising speed. Beams of energy passed through empty space where the Hwarang had been moments before. "What?" Commander Vorex stood up from his chair. "How did they avoid our targeting systems?" The Hwarang spun and twisted through space. Captain Kim called out orders calmly. "Do-hyun, activate the experimental shields." Do-hyun pressed a sequence of buttons. "Shields active, Captain." The next blast from the alien ships hit the Hwarang directly. Instead of destroying the small ship, the energy seemed to flow around. It absorbed by the shield technology. Inside the alien command ship, alarms began to sound. "Impossible," Sub-Commander Drelks said. "Their shields absorbed our primary weapons." Commander Vorex slammed his fist on his chair. "Fire all forward batteries." Multiple weapons fired from the alien ships. The space around the Hwarang lit up with energy blasts. The small scout ship shook but remained intact. "Shield strength at 80%, reported Do-hyun. Captain Kim nodded. "Let's show them we're not defenseless." Target their smallest vessel. Minimal power only. Lieutenant Hyunwoo aimed carefully. Target locked. Fire, ordered Captain Kim. A beam of blue energy shot from the Hwarang. It hit the smallest alien ship with perfect accuracy. To the surprise of both the humans and aliens, the ship exploded immediately. Direct hit. Hyunwoo couldn't keep the excitement from his voice. On the alien command ship, Commander Vorex watched in shock as one of his vessels disappeared from his screen. How? Their weapons should be primitive. The Hwarang moved quickly between the larger alien ships. Captain Kim studied the alien formation. There's a gap in their defense pattern, he said. Hyunwoo, target these coordinates. The scout ship fired again, damaging 3 more alien vessels without destroying them. They're targeting our weak points, Sub-Commander Drelks whispered. How can they know our ship designs? Commander Vorex stood silent, watching as the small Earth vessel caused chaos in his fleet. It made no sense. Their intelligence said Earth technology was far behind the Galactic Council. Retreat, he finally ordered. Pull back to regroup. The alien ships began to move away from the Hwarang. Captain Kim didn't pursue. Yoonji, send them a message, he ordered. Yoonji opened the channel again. Ready, sir. Commander Vorex, Captain Kim said calmly. We have no desire for conflict. This was merely a defensive response. We represent only a small scouting element of Earth's defense forces. As the alien ships retreated, Captain Kim turned to his crew. Good work, everyone. Now we need to report to Earth Command. Yoonji nodded. I have Admiral Choi waiting for your report, sir. Captain Kim took a deep breath. What had just happened would change everything for Earth. Their small scout ship had just made first contact with an alien invasion force, and somehow survived. Tell the Admiral we're coming home, he said. And tell him to prepare. I think we just started something big. The Hwarang turned and headed back toward Earth, leaving the confused alien fleet behind. Little did the aliens know that they had just faced only a scout unit, not even a true warship of the human fleet, and that fact would terrify them more than anything else. The bridge of the alien command ship was silent. Commander Vorex stared at the screen showing the small human vessel that had somehow survived their attack. His 4 eyes blinked rapidly, a sign of stress among his species. How is this possible? He asked. No one answered immediately. Sub-Commander Drelks finally spoke. Their technology must be more advanced than our intelligence suggested. Commander Vorex turned to his science officer. Analyze their ship. What are we facing? The science officer, a thin alien named Mez, studied the readings. The vessel is small, clearly designed for speed and reconnaissance, but its shield technology is unlike anything in our database. On the Hwarang, Captain Junho Kim was making plans. His ship had survived the first encounter, but he knew the aliens would attack again. Status report, he ordered. Lieutenant Hyunwoo checked his console. Shields at 70% and recharging. The aliens are regrouping about 50,000 kilometers away. Engineer Jiwon Lee called from the engine room. Captain, I've managed to boost our shield capacity, but we can't take sustained fire from all their ships at once. Captain Kim nodded. We need to be smarter, not stronger. Do-hyun, what did we learn about their weapons? Weapons specialist Do-hyun Kang had been analyzing the data. Their energy signatures have a pattern. I think I can predict their firing sequence now. Good, said Captain Kim. Yoonji, any response to our message? Communications Officer Yoonji. Yoon shook her head. Nothing yet, Captain. But Earth Command has received our report. Admiral Choi is mobilizing the fleet. Captain Kim looked at the alien ships on the screen. They were moving again, forming a new attack pattern. They're coming. Back, said Hyunwoo. Formation suggests they're planning to surround us. Captain Kim stood up. Everyone, listen carefully. We are not going to run, and we are not going to surrender. But we also won't reveal our full capabilities. Earth needs time to prepare. The crew nodded. They understood their mission now. They needed to delay the aliens without showing all their technology. Here's the plan, Captain Kim continued. We'll let them think they have us cornered. Then we'll use minimal countermeasures to break through their formation, just enough to confuse them, not enough to reveal our true strength. On the alien command ship, Commander Vorex gave new orders. Surround them. When all ships are in position, fire simultaneously. Nothing that small could survive such an attack. The alien fleet moved into a sphere formation around the Hwarang. 7 large warships against 1 small scout vessel. They've surrounded us, reported Hyunwoo. Captain Kim smiled slightly. Exactly as expected. Ji-won, are the engines ready? Yes, Captain, replied the engineer. Full power available. Do-hyun, set shields to adaptive mode. Adaptive mode activated, the weapons specialist confirmed. Captain Kim took a deep breath. On my mark, execute maneuver Delta. The alien ships closed in. On Commander Vorex's order, all 7 ships fired at once. The space around the Hwarang lit up with energy beams from all directions. Now, shouted Captain Kim. The Hwarang's shields changed frequency rapidly, adapting to each weapon's energy signature. Instead of blocking the attacks, the shields bent the energy around the ship. At the same time, the engines fired at maximum power. The small scout ship shot upward through a gap that had appeared in the alien formation, trailing the redirected energy behind it like a comet's tail. Impossible, shouted Commander Vorex. Where did they go? Above us, reported Sub-Commander Drelks. They've broken through the formation. The redirected energy from the aliens' own weapons crashed into 2 of their ships, causing significant damage. They're using our weapons against us, said Mez, the science officer. This technology is far beyond what we expected. Captain Kim kept his voice calm despite the tension. Hyunwoo, target their lead ship's propulsion system. Minimal power. Target. Locked, replied Hyunwoo. Fire. A thin beam of energy shot from the Hwarang, hitting the alien command ship with precision. The ship didn't explode, but it began to drift, its engines disabled. Commander Vorex grabbed his chair as his ship shook. Engine status. Propulsion systems offline, an alien crew member reported. They targeted exactly the right spot. 1 shot. Sub-Commander Drelks looked at the screen in disbelief. Commander, they could have destroyed us. They deliberately disabled us instead. This realization made Commander Vorex pause. The humans were showing restraint. Why? The Hwarang moved swiftly, executing a series of complex maneuvers that the alien tracking systems couldn't follow. The small ship fired short, precise bursts that disabled but didn't destroy 3 more alien vessels. They're toying with us, said Sub-Commander Drelks. Commander Vorex watched as his mighty fleet was systematically disabled by a single small ship. His mind raced to understand what was happening. The human captain said they were just a scout ship, he said slowly. If their scouts have this technology, what do their actual warships have? On the Hwarang, the crew worked efficiently. They were trained for this kind of situation, even if they never expected to use that training against aliens. 2 more ships moving to attack position, reported Hyunwoo. Captain Kim nodded. Evasive pattern Sigma. Do-hyun, prepare to discharge excess shield energy. Ready, Captain, replied Do-hyun. The Hwarang spun and twisted, avoiding most of the alien fire. The few hits they took were absorbed by the shields, storing the energy. Now, Do-hyun, target the space between those 2 ships. Do-hyun pressed a sequence of buttons. The Hwarang released a burst of energy, the same energy the shields had absorbed from the alien weapons. The burst exploded in space, creating a blinding flash that disrupted the alien sensors. When the aliens could see again, the Hwarang was behind them. How did they move so fast? Asked an alien officer. Commander Vorex had no answer. Nothing in their intelligence about Earth prepared them for this. Commander, called Sub-Commander Drelks. We're receiving a transmission from the human ship. Put it through, ordered Vorex. Captain Kim's voice was calm and measured. Commander Vorex, 5 of your 7 ships are now disabled. We have shown restraint. I suggest you reconsider your mission to our system. Commander Vorex looked at his damaged fleet. He had come expecting an easy victory. Instead, just 1 small human vessel had defeated them. Order all ships to fall back, he finally said. We need to reassess. As the alien ships retreated, Captain Kim turned to his crew. Well done, everyone. Mission accomplished. Yoonji smiled. Captain, incoming transmission from Earth. It's Admiral Choi. The screen changed to show Admiral Seojun Choi, a stern-looking man with gray hair. Captain Kim, your report was correct. The aliens are hostile, said the Admiral. Return to base immediately. The main fleet is launching. Yes, Admiral, replied Captain Kim. We're on our way. The Hwarang turned toward Earth, its engines glowing, blue against the blackness of space. Behind them, the alien fleet retreated, unaware that they had just faced only a scout unit, not a true warship of the human fleet, and that misunderstanding would change everything in the conflict to come. Commander Vorek stood before the large display screen in the strategy room of his damaged flagship. 5 of his 7 ships drifted in space, their main systems offline after the encounter with the human scout vessel. Only 2 ships remained, fully operational, including his command ship which had emergency backup systems. Show me the battle footage again, he ordered. The screen lit up with images of the small human ship, the Hwarang, as it danced between the alien vessels, dodging attacks and returning fire with perfect precision. Stop there, Vorek said. The image froze on a frame showing the human ship releasing absorbed energy back at the alien fleet. What am I looking at, Mez? Chief Scientist Mez stepped forward. His thin fingers tapped on a data pad as he explained. Their shields didn't just block our weapons, Commander. They absorbed the energy and redirected it. This technology is far beyond what our intelligence suggested humans possessed. Sub-Commander Drelks joined them, his usual confidence now replaced with worry. The human captain claimed they were merely a scout ship. Is that possible? Mez nodded slowly. Based on its size and crew complement, yes. It appears to be designed primarily for observation and reconnaissance, not for combat. Commander Vorek walked around the table, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence as he processed this information. If their scout ships can defeat our combat vessels, what can their actual warships do? No one answered. The question hung in the air like a dark cloud. A young tactical officer named Krev entered the room carrying a data tablet. Commander, I've completed my analysis of the human vessel's capabilities. Report, ordered Vorek. Krev placed his tablet on the table, and a holographic display appeared above it. The human ship demonstrates several technologies we didn't know they possessed. First, adaptive shielding that can change frequencies to counter different weapon types. The hologram showed the Hwarang's shields shifting as they encountered different alien attacks. Second, precision targeting systems far more accurate than our own. They hit exactly what they aimed at every time. The display shifted to show the human ship's attack patterns. Third, engines with unexpected maneuverability. They changed direction faster than our tracking systems could follow. Vorek studied the hologram with growing concern. And you're certain this was just a scout vessel? Yes, Commander, said Krev. We intercepted communications between the ship and their command. They referred to it as Scout Vessel Hwarang and mentioned it was returning to make way for their main fleet. The room fell silent again. Mez was the first to speak. Commander, if this represents their scout technology, their actual military vessels would be significantly more powerful. Vorek turned to face the window, looking out at the stars and the distant point of light that was Earth. We need more information. Have we intercepted any other human communications? Sub-Commander Drelks nodded. Yes, Commander. Our long-range sensors picked up transmissions between the scout ship and someone called Admiral Choi. Listen. Drelks activated the audio. A stern human voice came through the speakers. Captain Kim, return to base immediately. You've done your part. The main fleet is mobilizing. Then Captain Kim's voice. Yes, Admiral. We're on our way. The aliens have retreated for now. Good, replied Admiral Choi. The defense platforms are coming online. We'll be ready if they return. The audio ended. Commander Vorek looked troubled. Defense, platforms, scan the Earth orbit. What do they have up there? Krev worked quickly at a console, The main screen changed to show Earth and its moon. At first, nothing seemed unusual. Then Krev adjusted the sensors. "Commander, look at this." The image enhanced to show structures in Earth orbit that hadn't been visible before. Large stations with what appeared to be weapon systems. Around the moon, several hangars opened, revealing ships much larger than the Hwarang. "Those weren't there when we arrived in the system," said Subcommander Drelks. "They must have been hidden somehow." Commander Vorex stared at the screen. "How many ships are emerging?" Krev checked the readings. "At least 20, Commander. All larger than the scout vessel we encountered, and the orbital platforms appear to be weapon systems of some kind." Chief Scientist Mez studied the readings. "The energy signatures are much stronger than the scout ship. If the smaller vessel could disable 5 of our ships..." He didn't need to finish the sentence. Everyone in the room understood the implications. Vorex turned to face his officers. "We came to this system expecting an easy conquest. Our intelligence told us Earth was a primitive planet with basic technology. We were wrong." "What are your orders, Commander?" asked Drelks. Before Vorex could answer, Krev called out, "Commander, I'm detecting more ships launching from Earth's surface. Many more." The screen showed dozens of vessels rising from different points on the planet, all heading to join the fleet assembling in orbit. "How is this possible?" Vorex whispered. "Our advanced scouts reported nothing like this." Mez had been reviewing the earlier reports. "Commander, I believe I understand. The humans must have detected our scouts, but instead of revealing their true capabilities, they allowed us to see only what they wanted us to see." Subcommander Drelks nodded slowly. "A deception. They wanted us to underestimate them." Vorex sat heavily in his chair. The Galactic Council had conquered 17 star systems in the past decade. All had fallen easily to their superior technology and numbers. Earth was supposed to be the 18th. "Krev, prepare a comparison chart. I want to see how the scout ship compares to these larger vessels." Krev worked quickly, creating a holographic display that showed the relative sizes and power signatures. The scout ship appeared tiny next to the vessels now emerging from Earth and the moon. "Based on energy readings," Krev explained, "the larger ships have approximately 15 times the power output of the scout vessel." The room fell silent as the aliens contemplated this information. If one small ship could cripple their fleet, what could 15 ships of equal power do? And what about ships with 15 times that power? "We need to contact the Council," Vorex finally said. "Our mission parameters have changed. We were not prepared for this level of resistance." "What do we tell them?" asked Drelks. Commander Vorex looked again at the screen showing Earth's rapidly assembling fleet. "The truth. We engaged what we thought was an easy target. Instead, we discovered a militarily advanced civilization that deliberately led us into a trap. We didn't even face their actual military forces. We only battled a human scout unit." As the alien officers prepared to send their report to the Galactic Council, Earth's defense fleet continued to grow. The humans were ready for the fight they hoped wouldn't come but would win if it did. And the aliens were beginning to understand just how badly they had miscalculated. The scout ship Hwarang docked at Earth's orbital station Alpha. Captain Junho Kim and his crew stepped off their vessel to find a welcome party waiting for them. Admiral Seo Jun Choi stood at the front, his face serious but his eyes showing pride. "Captain Kim," the Admiral said, extending his hand. "You and your crew performed exceptionally." Captain Kim shook the Admiral's hand. "Thank you, sir. We only followed protocol." Admiral Choi nodded. "Nevertheless, you've given Earth a significant advantage. The aliens believe we're much stronger than we actually are." The truth was that Earth's defenses, while substantial, were not as extensive as the aliens now believed. The orbital platforms were real, but many were still under construction. The fleet consisted of only 15 actual warships, not the hundreds the aliens thought they saw. "Follow me," said Admiral Choi. "The Defense Council is waiting for your report." Captain Kim turned to his crew. "Lieutenant Hyunwoo, please come with me. The rest of you are on leave for 48 hours. You've earned it." The crew saluted and dispersed, heading to the station's living quarters for some well-deserved rest. Captain Kim and Lieutenant Hyunwoo followed Admiral Choi to a transport pod that would take them to Earth's defense headquarters. "What's the current status of the alien fleet?" Captain Kim asked as they traveled. "They've retreated to the edge of the system," Admiral Choi replied. "They appear to be making repairs and sending communications to wherever they came from." Lieutenant Hyunwoo looked out the window at Earth below. "Do you think they'll attack again?" The Admiral shrugged. "That depends on what they believe about our capabilities. Your encounter may have convinced them we're too strong to fight." The transport pod landed at Defense Headquarters in Seoul. The building looked like any other government office from the outside, but deep underground were the command centers that controlled Earth's defenses. The three men entered a large meeting room where the Defense Council was already assembled. 5 men and 3 women sat around a circular table, each representing different regions of Earth. President Tae-woo-yoon sat at the head of the table. "Captain Kim," the president said, standing to greet them, "Earth owes you and your crew a debt of gratitude." Captain Kim bowed slightly. "Thank you, Mr. President. We were just doing our duty." "Please," said President Yoon, gesturing to empty seats, "join us and tell us exactly what happened." For the next 20 minutes, Captain Kim described the encounter with the alien fleet. He explained how the Hwarang had used its shields to absorb B and redirect energy, and how they had disabled 5 alien ships without destroying them. "We didn't even deploy the main weapon systems," Lieutenant Hyunwoo added. "Just basic countermeasures and minimal defensive capabilities." The Defense Council members exchanged glances. "So they don't know what our ships are actually capable of," said one council member, a woman named Director Yoona Park. "Correct," Captain Kim replied. "They saw only what we wanted them to see." Intelligence Officer Minji Cho entered the room carrying a data tablet. She was the head of Earth's Space Intelligence Division. "Admiral Choi asked me to analyze the alien communications we've intercepted," she said. "I have some interesting findings." "Please share," said President Yoon. Minji placed her tablet on the table, and a holographic display appeared above it. "Based on their retreat pattern and communication frequencies, they're reassessing their entire mission," she explained. "They expected us to be primitive and easy to conquer. Instead, they encountered technology that surprised them." She tapped the tablet, and the display changed to show an alien ship. "Their species appears to rely on overwhelming force rather than tactical adaptability. When that approach failed against the Hwarang, they didn't know how to respond." "And now?" asked the president. Minji smiled slightly. "Now they believe we have hundreds of ships even more powerful than the Hwarang. They think we've been hiding our true capabilities." The room was quiet as everyone considered this information. "What are our actual capabilities?" President Yoon finally asked, turning to Admiral Choi. The Admiral straightened in his chair. "We have 15 warships fully operational, with another 10 still under construction. The orbital defense platforms are at 60% completion. In a direct confrontation with their entire fleet, the outcome would be uncertain, but they don't know that," Captain Kim said quietly. "Exactly," Minji agreed. "They think one of our smallest scout ships defeated their attack force. They're now assuming our actual military vessels are far more powerful." President Yoon stood and walked to the window, looking out at the city below. Seoul was peaceful today, its citizens unaware of how close they had come to an alien invasion. "So a single scout ship with 12 crew members fought off their vanguard," he said thoughtfully. "And now they think we're much stronger than we actually are." "Yes, Mr. President," Admiral Choi confirmed. President Yoon turned back to face the room. "The Hwarang is one of our older scout models, correct?" "Yes, sir," Captain Kim said. "It's been in service for 5 years." "And it was operating at what capacity during the encounter?" Lieutenant Hyunwoo answered. "Less than 30% of its full capabilities, sir. We were under orders not to reveal our full military technology." The president nodded slowly. "And the aliens now believe they've encountered only the equivalent of our border patrol," Admiral Choi finished. "They don't realize the Hwarang was operating at reduced capacity, and they think it represents technology we considered obsolete 3 years ago." A small smile appeared on President Yoon's face. Then we have an advantage. Not in actual military strength, but in perceived strength. Perception can be as powerful as reality in warfare, Minji noted. What do you suggest we do, Mr. President? Asked Director Park. President Yoon returned to his seat. We continue the deception. Make sure the aliens see our orbital platforms. Let them detect our ships moving in formation. But most importantly, open a channel for diplomacy. Diplomacy? One council member asked, sounding surprised. Yes, said the president firmly. We don't want a war if we can avoid it. Let's use their misperception to negotiate from a position of strength. Admiral Choi nodded in agreement. I'll prepare a diplomatic vessel. Make sure it looks impressive, President Yoon added. The more they believe in our strength, the more likely they are to choose peace. As the meeting continued, Captain Kim sat quietly, thinking about the strange twist of fate. His small scout ship had changed the balance of power between Earth and an advanced alien civilization, all because of a misunderstanding. Sometimes, he thought, appearances were more important than reality. And today, that might just save Earth from war. 1 week after the encounter between the Hwarang and the alien fleet, Commander Vorek stood before a large screen in his command ship. On the screen was the face of the Galactic Council leader, a stern-looking alien with 6 eyes and gray skin that seemed to shimmer in the light. Your report is troubling, Commander Vorek, said the Council leader. You claim a single human scout vessel defeated 5 of your ships? Vorek lowered his head slightly in a gesture of respect and shame. Yes, High Leader. We were misled by our intelligence. Earth is not the primitive planet we believed it to be. Show me, demanded the Council leader. Vorek transmitted the battle footage. The Council leader watched in silence as the small human ship evaded their attacks and systematically disabled the alien vessels. When the footage ended, the Council leader's expression was grim. And you say this was merely a scout unit, not one of their warships? Correct, High Leader, Vorek replied. We intercepted their communications. They referred to it as Scout Vessel Hwarang, and since then we have observed their actual military fleet. Vorek sent more footage, showing Earth's orbital defenses and the ships that had emerged from hidden bases around the planet and its moon. The images were enhanced by MES, making Earth's defenses appear even more substantial than they actually were. We recommend immediate diplomatic solutions rather than military action, Vorek said. Our intelligence was catastrophically wrong. The Council leader was quiet for a long moment. The Galactic Council had never encountered such resistance from a planet they targeted for conquest. Very well, the Council leader finally said. Open diplomatic channels, but be prepared for deception. Perhaps they are not as strong as they appear. With respect, High Leader, Vorek replied. If this represents their reconnaissance technology, their actual military power is concerning. We estimate they could destroy our entire expansion fleet before we reach their inner system. After the transmission ended, Sub-Commander Drelks approached Vorek. Commander, the humans are transmitting on all frequencies. They are requesting diplomatic talks. Vorek nodded. As expected, put it on screen. The main screen changed to show a human in a formal uniform. It was Admiral Seojun Choi. Commander Vorek, said Admiral Choi. I am Admiral Choi of Earth's Defense Forces. We propose a peaceful meeting to discuss our future relations. Vorek studied the human carefully. There was confidence in the Admiral's posture, not the fear Vorek was accustomed to seeing in species facing the Galactic Council's might. We accept, Vorek replied. We will meet at a neutral location between our positions. Admiral Choi nodded. We will send our diplomatic vessel. Tomorrow, Admiral Choi out. As the screen went dark, Vorek turned to his officers. Prepare for the meeting, and be alert. We still don't know the full extent of their capabilities. On Earth, in the presidential office in Seoul, President Tae Woo-yoon was meeting with Admiral Choi, Captain Junho Kim, and intelligence officer Min-ji Cho. They've agreed to diplomatic talks, Admiral Choi reported. President Yoon nodded. Good. Our strategy is working. They believe we're stronger than we are. Captain Kim, who had been invited due to his first-hand experience with the aliens, asked, What are our diplomatic goals, Mr. President? Peace, First and foremost, President Yoon replied, we want recognition of Earth's sovereignty and our right to exist without interference. Beyond that, we are open to cultural exchange and even trade if possible. Minji Cho had been analyzing the alien communications. Based on their transmissions, they're still afraid of us. They believe our scout ship was using only minimal capabilities. They're expecting our diplomatic vessel to be a show of force. President Yoon smiled slightly. Then let's not disappoint them. Admiral, is the Unity ready? Yes, Mr. President. Admiral Choi confirmed. The Unity is our newest ship. It looks impressive, though its weapon systems are not yet fully installed. But the aliens won't know that, Minji added. Exactly, said the President. We'll send the Unity as our diplomatic vessel. Captain Kim, I want you to accompany Admiral Choi. Your experience with these aliens will be valuable. Captain Kim nodded. Yes, Mr. President. The next day, Earth's diplomatic vessel Unity left orbit, heading for the meeting point with the alien fleet. The Unity was large and sleek, its hull gleaming in the sunlight. It moved with a grace that belied its size, escorted by two smaller vessels that were actually scout ships, similar to the Hwarang, but made to look like powerful warships. The bridge of the Unity, Admiral Choi sat in the command chair with Captain Kim standing beside him. Nervous, Captain? Asked the Admiral. A little, Captain Kim admitted. These aliens came to conquer us. Can we really trust them? No, said Admiral Choi plainly. But they trust our strength even less. That's our advantage. As the Unity approached the meeting point, they saw the alien command ship waiting. It was large, but the damage from the Hwarang's attack was still visible on its hull. They've seen us, reported the communications officer. They're requesting visual contact. On screen, ordered Admiral Choi. Commander Vorax appeared on the main screen. His four eyes widened slightly at the sight of the humans. Admiral Choi, he said formally. We are prepared for our meeting. As are we, replied Admiral Choi. We suggest a direct shuttle meeting between our vessels. Vorax agreed, and soon a small shuttle carried Admiral Choi and Captain Kim to the alien ship. They were escorted to a large meeting room where Commander Vorax and his officers waited. Welcome, said Vorax. This is a historic moment for both our peoples. Admiral Choi nodded. Indeed. Though not the meeting you originally planned when you entered our system, I think. Vorax's skin changed color slightly, a sign of embarrassment. Our intelligence was flawed. We underestimated your civilization. A common mistake, Admiral Choi said calmly. One we hope won't be repeated. The negotiations began, with both sides presenting their terms. The humans demanded recognition of Earth's sovereignty and territory. The aliens sought assurances that Earth would not use its technology against the Galactic Council. As the talks continued, Captain Kim noticed something about the aliens. They kept glancing at him with what seemed like nervous respect. You recognize me, he said suddenly. Vorax turned all four eyes to him. Yes, Captain Kim of the scout vessel Hwarang. Your tactics were impressive. Captain Kim simply nodded, saying nothing more. Let them continue to believe, he thought. After hours of discussion, a preliminary agreement was reached. Earth would be recognized as a sovereign system with rights to its territories. The Galactic Council would classify Earth as a non-expansion zone. In return, Earth agreed not to expand beyond its solar system for 50 years. When Admiral Choi and Captain Kim returned to the Unity, they were smiling. Peace, said Admiral Choi. Achieved not through superior strength, but through the perception of superior strength. Captain Kim looked back at the alien ship. Do you think they'll ever realize the truth? That the Hwarang was just a scout ship and we weren't as powerful as they believed? Admiral Choi shook his head. It doesn't matter now. The treaty is signed. And by the time the 50 years are up, who knows? Perhaps we will be as strong as they believe we are. As the Unity turned and headed back to Earth, Captain Kim thought about the strange twist of fate. A simple misunderstanding had saved Earth from conquest. and established humans as a power to be respected in the galaxy. All because the aliens were horrified they had only battled a human scout unit.